Welcome to Policy and Profit, the podcast for ambitious insurance agents and agency owners who want to build predictable, profitable businesses without chasing bad leads or begging for referrals. And let me just be brutally honest with you for a second. Most agency owners aren't building a team, they're babysitting one. They spend their days chasing flaky prospects, repeating the same recruiting pitch 5 times a week like a parrot, only to have no shows, ghosters, and broke dreamers drain their time and siphon all their energy. And worst of all, their personal production suffers, and they start resenting the team that they tried so hard to build. And if that's you, you're not lazy. You're just trying to scale using effort rather than systems. That's why I built the Autopilot Recruiter, a done-for-you system that helps you attract qualified agents, pre-sell them with your story, and get them onboarded without doing another live Zoom, sales pitch, or three-way call ever again. It's the same system top recruiters are using to grow massive downlines without sacrificing their commissions, their time, or their sanity. If you're ready to build a team that actually grows itself, go to writemorepolicies.com/playbook and download the free playbook today. Today's guest is Nick Scordos. He is an industry expert, 12 years in the life and health industry, earning millions of dollars. Not sure how many millions, but he's earned millions. And Nick, welcome to the show. Tell me something you believe is the key to succeeding in life insurance sales that most agents completely overlook.
Wow. Yeah. So Mason, that's such a good question. So the first thing that really, comes to my mind is that they end up underestimating actually how much work that it's going to take and, how much adversity, that they're going to have to overcome, especially as a brand new agent. So, and then like what happens is they end up, underneath probably poor leadership, poor mentorship, and then they end up making a permanent decision off of a temporary circumstance. So that's what I've noticed.
Yeah, I have to agree with you on there. I'll never forget the day I helped someone launch an ad campaign, and the first day they didn't get a sale, and they paid like $3 per lead. It's like, well, Facebook ads doesn't work. It's like, please tell me more about your $60 in Facebook ads, disproving people spending millions of dollars a day. And I got to the point where I
100%.
was running 5, 10 grand a day on some campaigns to scale info products. And it's like, you're going to sit there and tell me with your 60 something dollars spent in ads that ads don't work.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so that
Tell
it just
that. Yeah.
cracks me up.
You know, tell that to Coca-Cola, right? That ads don't work, right? Yeah, no. And so I think, there's like this illusion in the industry that like, I got my license, I got the leads, I'm going to go become a millionaire in the next 90 days. And it's funny because I was actually talking with my team last week about this, that the average entrepreneur doesn't even really turn a profit until like year 4 or 5. And yet we get into the life insurance business and we think that we're going to become millionaires within 6 months. And then when we're not, it's the lead's fault. It's the upline's fault. It's the industry's fault. This sucks. I suck. Everything sucks. And then they just end up throwing in the towel. What's crazy is over the last 12 years, I've helped coach, some of the biggest names in the life space. And I mean, a lot of these guys struggled their first 3 to 6 months. And, now they're making, 6 figures a month, but, like you're judging their chapter 30, against your chapter 1, right? So, I mean, not everyone comes out the gate crushing it.
Yeah, and most of the agents that do come out of the gate crushing it, the moment they run into resistance, they throw in the towel.
Bingo.
They're throwing the towel.
Oh yeah.
It's sad.
Yeah, dude. 100%.
So talk to us more about adversity. I know it's something you're passionate about. It's something that you talk about in your book, what's the name of your book, by the way?
Yeah. So my book is called Acceler Agent: How I Went from Zero to Hero in Financial Services Fast. And this was just a very short book. It's only 50 pages long, and I did that on purpose because I wanted to my communication style is very short, sweet, but impactful. And so I wanted my book to kind of represent that. And so I think when I think of the word adversity, I think of the word battle tested. There's this quote that my dad taught me years ago, that a smooth sea never made a skilled sailor.
Correct.
And so, it's the rough seas that build your skill, right? It's the rough days in the field where no one's picking up the phone, people are refusing, and you got a big chargeback, right? It's those days that build your character. I could tell you over the last 12 and a half years that I've been in this business, my brightest days always came after like my darkest nights. So like the moment where I was like, how are we going to make this thing work? Starting over, building a brand new agency from scratch, COVID. I mean, there's so many things that happened in my career over the last 12 and a half years, moving states, losing top producers, people stabbing me in the back, right? I mean, you name it, I've been through it. But in the moment, it didn't feel good. In the moment, I'm like, why is this happening to me? But now looking back, that shaped me into the leader that I am today.
I wholeheartedly agree. I think it's Inky Johnson. I'm not sure if you're familiar with him. He has a video
Oh
where
yeah.
he talks about you're either going through adversity, you're about to go through adversity, or you're coming out of adversity. And it's
Yep.
that's the cycle and seasons of life, my friend. So
Bro,
just be
100%.
prepared to be spit on, chewed out, backstabbed, because this industry is funny. There's a lot of you you go to industry events. I got tired of winning trips just because I want to go on vacation with people I want to go on vacation with, not
Hmm.
with 300 other agents who are all drunk, sharing, swapping partners. If you pick up what I'm putting, it's
Yeah, yeah.
very weird
Wild.
at some of these events. So
Yeah.
insurance, it exposes a lot of people. So
Oh,
what's your
100%.
best, what are some of the tips or something in your book that you give on dealing with adversity and how it shapes you as a person?
Well, so I'm a very spiritually grounded man, so I'm a follower of Jesus, and so I just look at and reflect on, Jesus's life, like whether or not you're a Christian, it's kind of hard to argue with history, right? So I mean, you're looking at a man who lived on this earth for 33 years, pretty much lived a servant life. He was a carpenter. He did so much good for so many people. Never did a bad thing really in 33 years. He washed people's feet and he lived a perfect life and they crucified him, right? So to me, anytime that I'm going through adversity, I just kind of reflect back on the Bible and I look at all the most influential people in the Bible all went through crazy amounts of adversity. Whether it was like 40 years through the wilderness, and then, like overnight, right? So I always I'm grounded, in the Bible. So that's always helped me. So number one, just getting in the Word of God. Number two, I have incredible mentors around me, incredible coaches that have guided me through this, that have been through that before. So number two, relying on a proven mentor is so valuable because I'm just a product of having great leadership. Like I have very few original thoughts. My book is really comprised of everything that I've learned from all my mentors. And so I really never had a bad mentor, and so I'm very blessed, So being able to seek out mentorship and just attaching yourself to them, that's probably tip number two. And then number three, man, just learn from the adversity. Like storms come to clear a path, right? So like they don't come to destroy, they come to clear a path to humble you, to prune you for new growth. Like if you think about, I'm big into, I have like these really nice palm trees in my backyard and, I prune them and I water them. And so, if you look at a tree, you have to prune off the old dead leaves in order to facilitate new growth. And so that's how I view adversity. And I think how you view adversity, because it's so easy to just throw a pity party and be like, oh, I'm going through this. Woe is me. And then you try to talk to everyone about your problems. I don't talk to anyone about my problems unless they can help me. Right. So, but I view the problem as the opportunity. I think in the Japanese language, the word problem, like there is no word for problem. It's actually opportunity. So it's an opportunity for growth. And so how you view it means everything, right? So number three, change your perspective on the adversity that you're going through.
Yeah, there's so many things that support what you're saying. If you're looking at nature, first and foremost, if something's not ground, if you can't find it in the real world, I have a hard time believing anybody when they tell me, like, I've never seen anywhere in nature where smiling and dialing is actually a viable concept. Just like, let's just hammer people as much as we possibly can, throw spaghetti shit at the wall and see. I've never seen nature do that. And if you look at what you're talking about, nature, it prunes dead forest ground with lightning, catches all the forest stuff on fire. It turns over new nutrients in the soil with fire. So new trees, new life can grow. It's very good. And then obstacle, like you're talking about, clearing the path, storms clear the
Yep.
path. Obstacles are not there to obstruct you, but to instruct you, tell you
Come
where
on.
to go. So I like that you're mentioning this a lot just because it's grounded in, I don't know, something anybody can go out there and see,
Oh yeah.
which is how you know it's true for those of you watching. And when Nick says something like, I've never had a bad mentor, he's never had a bad mentor, it part of that could just be to his discernment as a fully grown man. You don't seem to me like someone who entertains sugar coating because the overweight people eat that shit up too.
Yep.
And you probably have a lot of discernment not to hang around dummies who say dumb things, which is why
Oh,
you,
100%.
and even if you did get a dumb mentor, you learned what not to do, which still
Oh,
made them a great
100%.
mentor. So
Yeah, yeah.
what's
And you know what? What you just said is so powerful because I am like allergic to negativity. Like the moment that someone starts talking trash or, starts just self-pity, like I immediately distance myself from those people. And like I've been doing that since a kid. So I've always changed like friends groups because if I'm around, like that's a big thing too. Like whenever insurance agent, like when you get into this industry, let's say that you're 18 years old, 25 years old. If you're not around super successful people and let's say that you're around people like you said that are drinking, smoking, negative habits, and you think that you're gonna win, man, that's like a recipe for like failure. So my old friends groups love them to death, but they were drinking on Thursdays. They were going out, not being smart. And like that was me in my late teens, early 20s. And then I finally grew up around 25 when I almost died. It's a crazy story. I actually fell off a roof and it kind of woke me up. And I'm like, you know what? Enough is enough. I'm going to ditch the old friends groups. I'm going to start getting into my mind, getting into my body, getting into my spirit. I got in a really good shape. And, I started hanging around winners that were actually going places, people that I aspired to become. So I think choosing your circle of friends is so important when you're in this industry, but any industry that you want to reach the top of.
not even, I don't, I'm gonna have to butt heads with you on there because what you just said is, it's not even just super important. It's like it's the easiest thing to do. Rather than you
100%.
learning how to do sale, like guys, I'm a little bit crazy. I don't know about you, Nick. You're probably the same like me. We're a bit delusional. We pay experts for coaching programs and money, and
Hmm.
we like learn. That's not what most of you want to do. Let's be
Hmm.
real. Reading
Yeah.
Dan Kennedy at 2 o'clock in the morning is not what most of you want to do.
Yeah.
Just bypass all the bullshit and
Yep.
engineer your environment. It's the easiest thing to do is just hang out with winners and you'll naturally just pick up what they do so you don't
100%.
embarrass yourself as the dumbest person in the group. It's the
Yeah.
easiest cheat code for anybody in life. Hang
Hmm.
around 5 millionaires, you'll become number six.
100
So
percent. And if you hang around five idiots, then you're going to become number six too, for sure. Yep.
exactly right. It's a law of polarity. For every negative, there's a positive. Every positive, there's a negative. It's just a lot of you focus on the negative. And so, what's a time where you've had to overcome a lot of adversity with just a quick story in the insurance world? Like, where's a time where you kind of got backstabbed and had to overcome that?
How much time you got, dude?
Man,
So,
I
so I
got
can,
years, but just
so I can talk recent. So I had a very large agency right after COVID. I built about a $400,000 a month team. And this was actually like as our company Globe Life was transitioning to virtual. So you're talking about I live in Cleveland. I had to commute from Cleveland to Detroit every week. And I have a family, so I had one little child at the time, and my wife was pregnant with number two. And just imagine, so I used to have to drive from Cleveland. I got my own apartment up in Detroit. And so I built this agency within 12 months. I started out our first month, we did like $21,000 of premium. And I built it from 21,000 to over $400,000 a month within it, like about a year's time. But I did that driving away from my family Sunday night. I'd check into my apartment Sunday night, around midnight. I'd wake up early. and I basically lived two lives. So I would work in Michigan from Monday to Friday. I'd work my tail off. I'd work, like 15-hour days. And then I'd drive home Friday night, spend 2 days with my wife and kids. So I did that, and talk about adversity. That was tough, like very, very tough. And then COVID happened, and that office, ended up, kind of falling apart, for, a bunch of different reasons. But as if that wasn't hard enough, building that from the ground up, I had to start over. Well, I got to start over, so I, joined the agency that I'm with now. And I went from $400,000 a month to zero overnight. And that was in 2023. And since then, we built up a very, very strong team. We've done some really cool stuff. I've walked stage as a top leader. I've gotten top producers across stage, and, was able to scale my income, back up to, about 7 figures now, in those three years. But it's been the hardest 3 years of my career, because all the energy and effort that I exhausted in, 2021, I basically, like starting over a year later. And then over the last 3 years, I never really encountered a lot of backstabbing in my career. I've been very blessed, with like great, leaders around me. I've been really good at recruiting, developing. But over the last few years, the backstabbing was like every 6 months, there was someone stabbing me in the back, doing something not ethical, and, me having to fire them, cleaning out house, a couple times, and losing a top producer, and that top producer stealing a bunch of agents. That never really happened to me, Mason. And so that was, believe it or not, new adversity for me. But now, again, looking back, it shaped me into an even more well-rounded leader than I am now. So now I'm able to help people navigate through those rebuilding, and while you're rebuilding, getting stabbed in the back, and, all of that. So I say all that, to say this, that don't ever think you've arrived. Like, don't ever think you get to a place where you stop experiencing, because whatever adversity you've experienced in the past, new and greater adversity is coming, and you better be ready for it.
Yeah, anytime I've done recruiting, webinars, podcasts, I've done a lot of marketing processes for agencies like over the $1 million mark. And if they get on a consulting call and it's like, how many times have you had to rebuild your team? If they don't give me a number greater than zero, it's like, I can't help you. The moment this goes to shit, you're going to leave. You're going to say this doesn't work, and I'm not going to get paid. So
Yeah.
wish you all the luck in the world. I can't help you until you go rebuild your team. They're like, you're stupid. I'm trying to give you money. I don't want it.
Yep.
Take it back. So
Uh-huh.
I'll just refund you. I'm not dealing with that. So that's, I'm glad that you're kind of shining a light on this, because most agency owners, they don't realize what it's like to have your 40, 50K a month producer bounce and then steal your team. Or, man, we had a agency owner that I knew offer to do something for somebody and move 100 downlines from a different agency. You've heard the horror stories, and it's just, it's so degenerate sometimes. It's so disingenuous, and God's just looking down, and I can't imagine how he looks at some of the things that happen.
100%.
So
Yeah.
this has been really valuable, Nick, for the agents and agency owners listening who want to learn more about what you do. Tell us who's a good fit to work with you and how they can get in touch.
Yeah. So, very, very easy. I'm looking for ethical, strong work ethics, people that are big thinkers, that want to build something big, proven mentorship, battle tested leaders. And so, easiest thing, man, just look me up on Instagram. It's Coach Nick Scordos, or just, jump on my website, nickscordos.com. Feel free to DM me, or, send me a message through the website, and we'll definitely link up for sure.
Fantastic. So we're going to wrap up here. You guys go comment down below in the comments. Say thank you to Nick Scordos for sharing his insights on what it was like kind of living two lives, bouncing back and forth between cities. And I'm sure your wife was very happy about that. So,
Absolutely.
yeah, wait, hats off to you for dealing with that. And for those of you interested in learning more about Nick, if you're just listening to the audio, it's NICKSCORDOS.com. If you're on YouTube, just click the link down below in the description. I'll have all of Nick's stuff down there, and go get a copy of his book, Acceler Agent, From Zero to Hero. You guys can go get that on Amazon, leave a 5-star review. And if you'd like to be on Policy and Profit, we're always looking for successful agents and agency owners doing at least 10K a month in commissions. I don't care about what you submit, guys. What do you actually get in the bank? So if you have unique strategies and stories to tell, go apply at the link down below in the description. And one more time, if you want to stop getting people on your team that never sell anything and drain all your effort, and you want to recruit the right people the first time on Autopilot, go to writemorepolicies.com/playbook. Until next time, keep building that commission machine, my friends. Nick, you crushed it, man. That was fun as hell.
Let's go, dude. Appreciate that, man. That was good.
That was my pleasure.